Oh, what's up, everybody? Yeah, it's the market recap show. Oh, I failed to log in over here. Okay, hold on a second here. All right, wrong passwords. Hey, how's it going? Look at the screen over here right now as we have the market recap show ready to go. One name on our ETF list is red today. Can you guess what it is? It's in the energy space, and here it is right now. It's UNG. I know, like, how come like it's such a big red thing there and then everything else green down here, including, which is kind of strange because you have UNG today, which is red, down 2.18%, and then you have OIH up. We'll talk about oil a little bit later. That's been absolutely amazing off the bottoms. I mean, oil hasn't been that great here, as this is oil services, but if you're going to look at USO, what a great bottom that was. Again, like just coming back in, didn't quite get to 60. Of course, this is not light sweet crude. This is the United States Oil Fund, but a nice bump up back up to the 200 period, and all things looking pretty well right now. Thank you so much for joining, man. It's been a busy day. Little bit of action coming into this close. Nice move to the downside as we held a couple of shorts. Just didn't believe this market would just keep on going up, but ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus rally continues up today, and it's going to start with the triple Qs. As you can see here, the triple Qs today up 0.61. I think it goes with 0.3 it was on, I don't know what date it is anymore, on Friday. So you're up about 1% in the first 2 days. Right on track, man. It's 2.7% on average in 5 days. So you're looking at 0.5% a day, and it looks like we're doing that again. That's USO. And of course, the energy names really rallied today. Some nice strength in there. The U.S. Federal Reserve, again, are going to be reducing interest rates. That's good for global expansion and growth. So as sort of maybe some of these worries come out in China, we saw NIO with a nice move to the upside. We saw Alibaba. I could see obviously the R word being swept under the rug a little bit. That's going to be recession. And when that happens, you get oil and all of that moving one way. And right now, oil kind of saying, hold my beer, with a nice move back up today with USO up 2%. TAN, another one of those beneficiaries as you look for lower rates. Way more affordable to be able to set up those solar panels when you can borrow money at a rate that helps. You know what, I was actually thinking about this. Let's just check out IYR for real estate or housings. We can check out all this. But like right now with mortgage rates, it's not actually in Canada, we have to reset every 5 years. So there's going to be a lot of homes that could be, I don't want to say underwater because our real estate market has really sort of accelerated here. But depending on where you are, it's going to be hard to refinance some of those loans. And again, you're just coming now into kind of new rates for everybody here in Canada and across the border. I know mortgages have come back in a little bit on the mortgage rate. Look what happened with Fannie Mae today. All the way, like Fannie Mae, really huge move. We'll look to trade some of this tomorrow, possibly on the pink sheets as well. But look at this move on Fannie Mae. I don't know what started this. We'll have to check out where mortgage rates made today, but Fannie Mae up 30% today with an absolutely monstrous move. Reminds me of going back over, looking at this XHB. This is what it looks like on a weekly chart. Where's my guy Fabian? I was going to say maybe a water, but that's okay. I know you're switching now, so it's all good. But look at XHB off the bottom of 70, trying to take out 73. And look at this. Now new fresh highs on the home builders. We talked about the Russell going from top to bottom in 38 weeks or something like that, or 38 trading days, sorry, 52-week low to 52-week high. Look at XHB. Nowhere near the 52-week low, but not far off of it, man. Down to 64, now all the way back to $96. Wow, as that continues to go. What else is interesting to us here today? I said that I really liked XLU. No, sorry, that's the sector spider. I wanted XL. What did I talk about on the XRT? Was the retail as well? I wanted the biotech name with Eli Lilly X. Why can't I remember what this one is? I'm going to go over to the chat here. What's the biotech? I know IBB is it, but that's not the one. What's the X one that I recommended on the podcast? I'm just losing my mind right now. Let me go over here. Man needs a cold one. Man needs something over here right now. It won't be XBI. Duh, thank you so much for that one. I really like, I like that. Thank you, Professor Love and Comp SRX1. I just really like these names because, again, of what we talked about before. And that is, simply put, what's in some of these names, right? The biotech names, you've got a nice little bump up with Eli Lilly. I think there's going to be a lot of news there. Pfizer, you're going to be involved with. Thanks, Obi. I'll take that. Thank you so much, Obi. Cheers, my guy. Obi, it's water. What the hell? No, but This is actually not even the layout that I had for Trade Ideas, so I'll do better tomorrow and be better prepared to show you some of the constituents in some of these ETFs. But what about KRE again? Another one that's really starting to work to the upside. Some of these regional banks just continue to sort of climb higher and higher and higher. How do I kind of like get these to reverse? I want like the green names up here and vice versa. But XHB, XLK, of course, FXI, the Chinese ETF, I think is another pretty interesting name to look out for right here. Could be something. And then what about SMH with some of the semis? I just want to thank everybody right now for joining. Look at SMH, 175, 176. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit everything. We got Brian Shannon coming on pretty soon, so that should be pretty exciting as we go. And we do have right now, brought to you by, I have Benzinga going as well. Not much happening in the news wire, so if anything does hit, I'll bring you anything off Benzinga right now. So anything in here. Microsoft, nothing there. Big cup of mediocrity. Okay, we'll find out about that one. Who downgraded? Starfield's ratings, mostly negative. Oh, Starfield, the game, mostly negative on Steam. Okay, so I guess that's a hit piece against Microsoft there. But if anything comes in here, we will have it hit piece. I guess not a hit piece. And then we also do have Benzinga coming through. And then today, obviously, was a very, very important day in the market because it's the end of the year. Start the week off heading into the last rally, which is the Santa Claus rally. So if you're coming, I'm just going to Google it here and just show you what I mean when I talk about how far the Santa Claus rally needs to go in order for it to be the truth. So start what is. I just want to show you guys that it's 2.7% for that as it goes heading upside. So we just have the triple Qs right now, and it's supposed to be the SPY. But guess what? Breaking news and banging it out right now. We'll go breaking news because guess what? Today, here it is right here, 79% of the time up, 1.4% in the S&P 500, 2.7% in the NASDAQ. But the SPY, take it or leave it, I'm going to take it because guess what? Today, we actually doesn't look like we did it on SPY, but we did it on the ES. We took out past highs on the ES. So that happened today. We're all the way back, baby. So this goes all the way back, as you can see, back into 2021 when we hit those highs back in December. The NASDAQ and the SPY, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ seems to be all the way back. The one name that isn't, but is really outperforming, I don't know what to do about IWM. There's definitely, I'm a little bit light in IWM. We're going to actually have that up here to see 1.27%. Here it is right here. One of the best indexes today, and it's really starting to exceed expectations, in my opinion, on the Russell 2000. Its top to bottom is absolutely huge. We were just at 164 back in October, up to 203, right? That's a huge move for the index, but again, being sparked by a lot of these lesser names. I mean, look at Affirm. I'm actually not going to call up Affirm on I'm going to call up Affirm on a daily here if I can get it. This was a name that we really struggled with early today, just not believing in it. Here's what I did on Affirm. Let me just show you. AFRM. Don't show these trades to Brian because I normally only show him good trades, so you know we don't want. Oh, he's watching right now. Damn it, Brian, close your eyes. But no, I'm just playing around. We all look. If you're a real trader, you know, shout out to Brian, shout out to me, shout out to a lot of you guys watching as well. It's going to be ridiculous for me to sit here and act like we're not, you know, we're on the up and up. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I want you to trade this penny stock so that we can all get into it and it can moon, right? There's going to be a lot of other places that do stuff like that. For me, sometimes we'll take swings and misses. Sometimes we'll take swings and there'll be some nice hits. But here I am to show you what happened on Affirm. I mean, I thought right into here when we were kind of barcoding that I thought Affirm had seen better days, man, and this $50 was no more. I thought the market was going to pull back today. Silly me. Look at Affirm. Nice move to the upside. So we were short in here. Should have got out when we realized that there just was no dumping happening in Affirm. Average, average, average until eventually we break through 50. It's a good thing we're able to get a little bit out, but that was a big L for us on that one. The one that worked out for us at the end of the day, as far as an average in, was DraftKings. And this one, Brian will like. Why? Because I'm actually a little bit smarter here, because we were underneath VWAP. I should be shorting names that are underneath VWAP. That was the case here for DraftKings. So that was bad. We talked about that. I really thought that we were going to be breaking lower here. So we did take an early position, unable to get out of it until we had some better fills upside here on DraftKings closer to VWAP. These are like 5 cents away. So that made sense. And it's too bad that the market closed, because I really feel like we would have dipped down. But again, there's some 56s out 46. Those were some good trades. For trade of the day, I don't really have anything specifically right now, but just look at the NASDAQ and what was happening here for the Qs today. We have a bad wick. Hold on, let me just try to edit this real quick. Actually, you know what I can do is say forget about you and go back over quickly to trade ideas and just have a quick look at what we did here on this chart. So this is the daily. You can see huge dump in October. Nice huge dump. That doesn't sound good. Nice dump there in October. And then another one, a little bit of a pullback into 384, 385 at the beginning of the month. But since then, man, straight upside. And then look at what we did today on a 3-minute chart. I mean, this was telling. As soon as the market really started to go early, it's not even like it went. It's just this initial move probably should have been respected. I don't have VWAP on this chart. I should probably put it in. I wonder if we drop back into that level. But for me, it was pretty hard to believe in this move. It's a good thing this happened at the end of the day, because we're able to catch it. And I did really like Google was my #1 net name, taking advantage of this early break right there at 142. So we played the long, had some nice moves, but then it really faded all day. And hold me to this or not, I'm going to be trading live tomorrow, so guess what? I'll be here. I actually feel like we could actually maybe make a move down tomorrow. I'm going to be interested to hear if Brian has any thoughts on that one, to see if there was any movement. Here's Santa Claus Rally. During the 2023 Santa Claus last year, Santa Claus Rally, the final 5 days of trade in December, we talked about that, right? Started on Friday, will end this coming Friday as well, because we had yesterday off. The first 2 of January, S&P 500 rose only 0.8 last year. Okay, so there it is right now. And here's the average, if you guys don't believe me, with growth in the S&P 500, 1.4%, right? 79% of the time. So we're getting much closer to the Santa Claus Rally, and I did want to talk about that. So that's why, topic next. We were sort of just discussing that a little bit. So if something's going to stop in the Santa Claus Rally, and we do have my tweets to come, there are a couple names. Procter & Gamble, I think, is pretty low right now. J&J also. I mean, look at the daily chart on some of these names. If you are thinking about picking up something under the 200 period, J&J's under here as well. And then we talked about some energy names like, XOM has made a nice move back from that 98 bottom as well. Okay, I'm going to turn my screen around, because guess what? I want to bring on Mr. Brian Shannon. I actually don't have his book. Oh, his book is over there. If you guys are interested in anything about anchored VWAP or just trading in general, this is the man for you. It's Trader Talk. It's Brian Shannon. Let's go. Mr. Shannon, happy holidays. How was Christmas for you and your family?
It was good. How about you, Sean?
It wasn't too bad. I got some new golf shoes, these new Adidas ones. They're Ultra Boost. They're supposed to be really super comfortable, so I'm excited for that. Got a few new things, a couple pairs of pants, not a new shirt, as I wear this all the time. And yeah, a couple fun things coming through. How about yourself?
I've got the flannel on here today, too.
I like that.
Spent some time with my grandkids yesterday, so that was fun. And, more about them than what I was doing.
Isn't it? That's the thing. Isn't it great that having kids and then grandkids, you can sort of relive everything all back and forth. So spending time with my parents as well and my family, very, very important. Okay, what a day, man. I only have one index down. That's UNG today. Nice little rally. You believe in the Santa Claus Rally? I mean, who doesn't? 79% of the time, we just showed it.
I believe in what I see and what the prices tell me. And, 79% of the time, that's darn good odds. And prices backing it up this year again so far.
I noticed that you have Google up here. So I had a decent trade on Google. Today, Google broke through its 52-week high. So those are always something that were pretty actionable, especially off the open, and especially for sort of day traders like us, looking for actionable events. 52-week high, generally something to look at. We saw the S&P and NASDAQ can kind of pull back sometimes when they hit those highs and make a move back in. I feel like we saw that with Google today. Nice move up into that 143-ish area, and then a pull back in to close, not necessarily near the lows, but there was a nice move in Google. Anything you want to talk about on that?
Sure. Like you said, I mean, a lot of times we see these new highs and then they start to pull in, especially after we see the magnitude of rally we've seen. Just 2 weeks ago, down at 130, so we rallied 10% to get to that new high. And what we often see is I hate to say it, but kind of uneducated short sellers have their final stand. They say, hey, if it breaks to a new all-time high, then I'm going to get out. And guess what? That's when the longs start to think, hey, well, if those shorts are finally giving up, maybe it's time to feed them a little bit. So we'll sell in here and lighten up a little bit and, just lighten up basically, because there's no reason to sell a good long position like this. But if it starts to pull back in the next week or two, that would be a really nice setup for continuation up higher again. So the trend's your friend, but you got to be a little bit wary once they get extended like this.
Yeah, so let's do a little bit. I mean, I am worried, actually, to be quite honest with you, but we've talked about this before. Google's in my long-term portfolio, so I don't plan on selling it, but maybe we can go over something. I use the 200 period, and I know that me and you have gone back and forth with, where do you get out, where are some levels of support and things like that, but maybe with the VWAP or an anchored VWAP or something, if traders are long heading into this 52-week high break, and maybe now we're getting nervous, like you said, the shorts could getting a little bit of food here as it made the move back down. They're a little hungry, these shorts. So we'll see if they can get filled. But is there a spot maybe of interest where some traders could say, hey, if we don't hold this level, then potentially lighten up? And it could also be not to ask you to get out, but it could also be an area to buy back in as well. What are the key areas maybe in Google that we can quickly look at?
Sure. On the weekly chart, I'm realizing this isn't actually an all-time high, but just a 52-week high.
Yeah.
But looking to the shorter-term time frame, I would not consider this trend broken until we start to see something like this happen, and that's the 5-day moving average. So, if it was to pull back down, then sure, good little day trade. But if it starts to distribute, then gets trapped underneath that 5-day moving average, then I would look for, this scenario over here in the daily time frame to play out. And what would happen in that case is that 5-day moving average I had sketched in would kind of look like this. And then maybe in a week or two, it would be a buy above that flat to rising 5-day moving average. A good example, Sean, to switch gears quickly, was that I posted this on Twitter today. ESTC is one that I've had my eye on for a little bit because it had this big gap up. It's just kind of gone sideways. But if you look at the longer term chart, it's a beautiful stage 2 uptrend here. So what I've been hoping would happen, I kind of sketched it and it worked that way, just happened to. But the anchored volume weighted average price from that gap, you can see we had a little shakeout below it. And then it got above that 5-day moving average, but it was clearly extended there. So what I was looking for was it to test that 5-day moving average. And now in here, it looks like it's getting ready to go. So bringing it back to Google, if we see Google kind of get stuck below that 5-day moving average, I wouldn't want to be a buyer in there, but instead somewhere over here on this side, as it starts to rally up back again, something like this.
That stock looks pretty elastic.
Yeah, elastic. Good one. Hey, I got something special for you, Sean.
What's that?
I got a sticky note.
Oh, that's it, Brian. You know what? Now that you show it to me.
Am I fired or is this good?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm pretty happy, but let's spread the sticky note, wealth across the world. So I think there it is. We have a little graphic up as well. Thank you, Brian. No, I'm just playing around. We love that. Thank you so much for that. The sticky note. Look, you know why I created that, Brian? I mean, it's the same thing I think as you. Is that there's so many names to look at that are always kind of setting up. And then I find myself being on the show is that sometimes I'll look over and I'll be like, what the heck am I doing with 8 positions,
Right.
And it's like, I need to focus on what I'm doing because realistically, maybe we could talk about this. I mean, it's like, I don't need to be short Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Like, to me, those are 4 names that are very similar. If one thing goes wrong, I could lose on all 4. So I'm
Right.
trying to be a little more specific in what we're doing. And I do like that on the sticky note that you're using that. We have a couple traders around here. Miss Danielle Shea has taken that from me as well. But
Oh, nice.
let's just grow Sticky Note Nation and get it going. Is there anything you have going on in the next couple of days with anything, any sort of webcasts or webinars that we might want to talk about? Everyone can, of course, go find you on X at Alpha Trends. I'm not letting you go, by the way. I just want to know.
No, there's nothing I have planned there. I purposefully, made
Right.
this is my favorite one, so here I am today.
Wow. That is, thank you so much for that commitment. And I got to be honest with you, I wasn't sure if Brian was going to come in. I sent him a quick message today. He responded was almost immediately, yes, sir, I'm coming in. And whatever you want to talk about. So that's great. Maybe we'll do a Q&A if you're around next week for a couple questions. We'll take it from the crowd here because honestly, it is pretty slow right now. Just a quick little job here if we can't look at maybe XOM. We often get some talks here about ExxonMobil. So come over to my screen, maybe here real quick, and we'll let Brian set up. Down in near $100 right now. I like this name, a nice little dividend in the 3 to 4% range. I know we don't buy stock necessarily for dividend, but it is nice to get some yield. And when you look back, you are at some of these nice levels, but Brian, we're still under this is me being simple, and I try to keep it simple and then give it to the experts like you, but we're still under the 50 period, and we are under the 200 simple on the daily. And even if you go back into a weekly chart on ExxonMobil, there's a lot of love at this $100 level, man. $98 is just looking like if we lose that, I'm not even really that worried. I mean, we can watch the underlying asset with oil, but this to me might be worth a pickup. We do have a monster buyback on with XOM as well, but I'm thinking about buying some more here. Let's wait to see, but how is XOM looking? Is there anything that maybe these longs need to be worried about, especially if we break that 98?
Yeah, I mean, so as you pointed out, on the weekly chart, which I have up here, looking at just classic stage analysis, when we're below those longer term moving averages, the 10, 20, 30, 40 week, which 10 week is the 50-day, 40 week is the 200-day, as we know, we're guilty till proven innocent. I want to see it start to turn sideways and then buy strength. Once it shows that strength, and then we're showing higher highs and higher lows above those moving averages, that's when I want to be long. Now we have this indecision right in here. Now this could be, it's just basing, building energy for the next move higher, but with those moving averages heading lower, it runs the risk of perhaps another downtrend emerging, and a 3% dividend is going to get wiped out in one day's loss.
Right.
So I would wait on this personally. I don't have a long-term investor's mentality. I think it's unlikely that this is going to happen, but it's possible, and that's what keeps me a little bit more defensive.
Was there any trading for yourself today, or was it just the Trader TV live appearance? Because maybe there was a name or something you want to discuss that you went through today. I don't know.
No, there actually were. So I'm still holding some of the ones we spoke about last week.
Right.
But there was actually purpose to this sticky note. If you look at the label, It says low price names.
Pull it back a little bit. Pull it back a little bit.
Oh,
it's not zooming. There it is. Stop. There it is.
Here.
No. Now I can't. No. One more. Stop. What does it say?
Okay,
Low.
here. It's ADT.
Yeah.
So these are ones I think in the next couple days.
All right.
Could have the potential to go. ADT is a low price name. I think most people know that name, the security company.
Yep.
It's banging away at that anchored VWAP from the all-time high. A lot of these low price names get going into the end of the year. So I don't have a position in this one. I'm keeping a close eye on it here. It's just rallied up on heavier and increasing volume. It's now pulling back on lighter volume. So that's one that has the potential to get going. BIGC was another one of those, if I could type it in properly, BIGC. So you can see that one's also right up against the anchored VWAP from the high in August. And longer term, if we look at the weekly chart, that's got some room to run. So these are the types of names that maybe in the next couple of days, some institutions are going to try to run them to pad their performance. Joby is another one, JOBY, on the weekly time frame. REKR, there's the weekly time frame, and there's the daily. So you can see it's starting to perk up a little bit. It trades, a million shares a day, and there's a big short position in SOFI, and this one has been going a little bit.
No.
And when you look at that weekly chart, it's got some room to run. So those are some names I'm going to keep an eye on through the end of the week and, see how they set up.
That's amazing because, yeah, I was actually pretty lucky enough to buy some SoFi in the low sixes and then again at 7 when we started to break higher. So I'm definitely waiting for that $10 break. Okay, look, one more name because we still have 2,000 watching, which is actually incredible. I didn't think we'd have that many. So I want to thank you and everyone sticking around for you, Brian. So that is fantastic. I want to thank you for coming in one more time. Okay, you like coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
I get them both, but I prefer coffee.
Sign this man up. You know what I had for the first time today, actually? And this is going to, maybe I'm weak for doing this. I had a matcha latte. I never had one of those before. And I said half sugar. It was pretty good. I don't know. Because I was thinking,
I don't think I've ever had one.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And then I mentioned to the wife, and then she gave me something in my stocking, which was like little matcha things. And then today, because, do you know that's Canadian holiday today?
Boxing Day.
That's right. That's right. We finally.
What exactly is that, though?
Well, it's because Lennox Lewis was born in England, but resided here in Canada, and of course he won all those belts, but has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with boxing. He's Canadian. No, it's an Old English holiday from here being in Canada. So that was part of it. Again, not our Constitution, but obviously being from that side. Being in the U.S. as opposed to Canada. We have Boxing Day. I know you guys do not. And I don't know exactly the history of it, but it's an Old English tradition where I believe they used to take out the presents and all the boxes. I don't know exactly what's up with it, but it is Boxing Day. What about Starbucks is what I'm getting at here. Starbucks has been in real problem, and I know there's been something about Palestine. There's been a little bit of back and forth with that and some political stuff. But right now, Starbucks, with the nice move back into $95, there's some people in the chat. What's up to Jai, who asked about it. Are we in trouble here? I think you lose 90, you definitely headed back down into 80. I'm a little nervous about Starbucks, but I would like to buy a little bit more. My wife spends enough money there.
Yeah, I don't really see anything compelling here. It's just back and forth above and below these moving averages. It tried to get going, but it was extended there, and then it failed. So from a failed move came a fast move, and now we're just stuck in I don't see anything there, Sean. To me, it's just an avoid. If I look at it and it looks like a mess, the message is clear. Leave it alone.
Yeah, so no touch until we see something.
Yeah.
All right. So come over to my screen, Brian. We'll do this together.
Yes.
Boxing Day originated in Victorian England, diverges from its Boxing Day sport misconception. It symbolizes generosity as the affluent once boxed surplus items for the less fortunate. So there you go. So yeah, it was pretty close there. This globally embraces holiday extends beyond the UK, celebrated with unique regional flavors in Australia, Canada, and in Europe. So it does have to do with something like that. But that's Boxing Day, and it's very, very similar to, I guess, Black Friday. So right now you'll get all flooded with emails telling you to go to this store and get those great deals. So we'll stay away from Starbucks, but what's your order if you went there? Just straight coffee or?
Straight coffee, black, yeah.
Yeah, black. Okay, I don't mind. I get a little splash of milk. I've been trying out like almond milk and oat milk. I don't know, get a little nuttier flavor in there. Maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I'm nuts, as my wife says.
Could be.
Could be. Okay, Brian, I like the sticky note. I'll send you a bill tomorrow, but that was great. Thank you for all the analysis there, especially on Starbucks. And hey, happy rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
You too,
and we'll
Sean.
take a couple questions. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks.
Ciao, my friend.
Bye.
Yeah, Boxing Day. Okay, yeah, it is Boxing Day right now, and that's great, man. Secular holiday, of course, celebrated here in Canada. All right, that's about it, man. It's 4:29. I want to thank everybody for coming through, and you know how we do that with roll call. All right, that's pretty smooth, right? That was pretty good. That was a pretty smooth transition right there. Again, can't do a roll call without saying a shout out to Brian, who was just there, and I want to thank him. And I want to thank Jay for that question as well. JAI in the chat there. Thank you so much for that question for Brian. And again, next time I'll ask a little bit more ahead of time. And next week, join me next Tuesday, as long as everything's all good. We'll have Brian. Wait a minute, what day do we have off? What day is New Year's Day? We have Monday off, so join me next Tuesday as we'll have Brian back on, and I got to get Michael on as well, Michael Noss. Okay, so quickly here, it's roll call time, baby, but I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do this first. It's Super Chat time. DJ Dubs, Andrew Ditter, Weaver, Corey, Sweetie Pie, Diamond Realty of Miami, John G. Thank you so much to everybody, man. It's been a great show. Ahmed, Nick Dub, John H.D. Westermeyer, Arsis FX, Soldier for Christ, The Hayes Days, Andrew again, Sailor Moon, and some new members, TJ, Natasha, Sky Bear, Hold My Beer. Shout out to everybody for joining us today. And here we go. It's another Monday off. No, it's not, man. It's not Monday. Oh, Juan Padilla. I thought you were saying today was Monday. It's Tuesday. So shout out to Juan. Shout out to everybody that's here. Monty G's here. Carlos is here. Bishop is here. He's a lumberjack and he's okay. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you to Rich Naples, man. Look, we're here. Every day we're here. I came in on my day off to film the podcast. Oh, by the way, if you're still watching, thank you so much. But make sure you hit that podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. Just type in Trader TV Live. It'll come up. It's on YouTube. Man, that was a lot of fun. Canned. I told Brendan on the podcast that canned would destroy fresh cranberry sauce, and it wasn't even close. I didn't even see anybody that favored fresh. So go on the podcast, type in a comment, and let me know right there. Shout out to everybody as well. Good night to everybody. Good night to Noah. Thank you to Rare Seed. Thank you to everybody, man. The podcast is up. Go get it in the chat right there. Thank you so much for joining. What else did I put on there? Boxing Day. That's right. We just did talk about that. Celebrate to everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Well, hopefully we'll be able to spend that money one more time. Thank you so much. I'm Trader TV Sean on Twitter and on Instagram. Go find me and go follow me. Thank you to Fabian and thank you to Ramin for all their hard work today. That is for sure. I hope Brendan's enjoying his holiday. But hey, we're back tomorrow. Myself, Neil, Adara, and Sharif, and Alfred, I think, is coming back on the midday show. Is that right? Or is that right? Talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much and see you then. Ciao.